The glamour of becoming. Natalia's story. How a forgotten dream found its way home. Natalia loved her life. She loved being a wife. She loved being a mother. And she especially loved being the mother of her spirited 2-year-old daughter, Sofia, whose laughter seemed capable of filling every corner of their home. Many people spoke about motherhood as though it were something to survive. Natalia experienced it as something to celebrate. She adored packing little snacks, reading bedtime stories, wiping sticky fingers, planning family dinners, and watching her daughter discover the world one tiny wonder at a time. She reveled in it, and because she reveled in it so completely, something else quietly slipped into the background. A dream, not because it wasn't important, not because she had abandoned it, simply because life had become so full of beautiful things. Years earlier, Natalia had graduated from a prestigious art school with a Bachelor of Arts degree. She had double majored in photography and journalism. While other students spent weekends at parties, Natalia spent hers studying lenses, lighting, composition, storytelling, and camera mechanics. She loved cameras, all cameras, vintage cameras, modern cameras, film cameras, digital cameras. She loved the way photographs froze moments that would otherwise disappear forever. Back then, she had been certain of her future. She would travel the world. She would photograph cultures, landscapes, people, and celebrations. And one day she would publish magnificent coffee table books filled with her work. Books so beautiful people would leave them displayed on tables for guests to admire. That had been the plan. Then she met Ethan, and falling in love with him felt more exciting than any travel itinerary she had ever imagined. Then they got married. Then came Sofia. Life became wonderfully full. The dream quietly drifted to the back of her mind. Not forgotten, just sleeping, until one ordinary Thursday afternoon. Natalia was at a thrift store. She visited thrift stores often, with little Sofia in tow. She loved the treasure hunt feeling of never knowing what she might find. That day, she was searching for a desk. Ethan worked from home several days each week, and his current desk had become too small for everything he needed. There was no birthday, no anniversary, no special occasion. Natalia simply wanted to surprise him. Because he needed it, because she loved him. She wandered through aisles of furniture, examining desks, tables, and shelves. Then she saw it, a camera. It sat quietly on a nearby shelf. Beautiful, classic, elegant, the kind of camera that immediately demanded attention. Natalia stopped walking, her heart skipped. It looked remarkably similar to a camera her grandfather had once owned. Suddenly she was 12 years old again, holding photographs in her hands, listening to her grandfather explain shutter speed. Watching images emerge, feeling fascinated by the magic of storytelling through pictures. A flood of memories returned. Years of memories, dreams, plans, goals, passions, an entire part of herself she had not thought about in a very long time. She picked up the camera, and for a moment, the world seemed to stand still. Photography. How had she forgotten photography? Not entirely forgotten, of course, but forgotten enough that months had become years. Forgotten enough that her cameras sat untouched in a box at the very top of the closet she shared with Ethan. Forgotten enough that she hadn't called herself a photographer in a very long time. She bought the camera, and she bought Ethan's desk. When she arrived home, she assembled the desk and waited for Ethan's reaction. He loved it, exactly as she hoped. Later that evening, after Sofia was asleep, Natalia told him about the camera. About the memories, about the dream, about the coffee table books she had once imagined creating. Ethan listened carefully, then he smiled. Why don't you do it? Natalia laughed. Do what? Travel the world, maybe. She shook her head. We have responsibilities. That doesn't mean the dream is over. His words stayed with her for days. Then one afternoon, while folding laundry, a realization appeared so suddenly it felt like lightning. She didn't need to travel across the world. Not yet, maybe not ever. What if she traveled through her own surroundings first? What if adventure was closer than she thought? The idea changed everything, and the best thing about was that she could bring Sofia with her, and still be home in time to be a dedicated wife to Ethan. The following weekend, she visited the county fair. Camera in hand, she photographed colorful rides, families sharing funnel cakes, children winning stuffed animals, sunsets reflecting against carnival lights. The photographs were beautiful. The weekend after that, she visited a local farmer's market. She photographed baskets overflowing with fresh produce, flower vendors arranging bouquets, neighbors greeting one another, hands exchanging goods, tiny moments most people overlooked. Yet somehow, through her lens, they became extraordinary. A month later, Ethan attended an industry convention and invited Natalia and Sofia to join him. While Ethan attended meetings, Natalia explored the event spaces. She photographed architecture, crowds, displays, conversations, details, stories, because that was what she had always done best. She didn't merely take photographs. She captured stories. Soon, she began organizing her images, editing them, writing captions, creating collections. The journalism training she once thought she'd left behind suddenly became useful again. Words and photographs worked together exactly as they always had. One evening, while reviewing hundreds of images on her computer, she noticed something surprising. The photographs weren't just documenting places. They were documenting life, real life, beautiful life, the life happening all around her. The county fair, the farmer's market, family outings, community events, small town celebrations, everyday people, everyday moments, everyday beauty. Natalia realized something important. The world was not divided between ordinary places and extraordinary places. Every place became extraordinary when someone cared enough to truly see it. Months passed. Her collection grew. Then one day she designed the first draft of her coffee table book. Not about Europe, not about exotic destinations, not about places thousands of miles away. It was about home, about community, about overlooked beauty, about the remarkable stories hidden inside ordinary moments. As she turned the pages on her screen, tears filled her eyes. Not because the dream had changed, but because it had evolved. The dream was alive, just in a different form than she had imagined years before. And perhaps a better one. Because now she understood something her younger self never could. Dreams do not always disappear. Sometimes they simply wait. They wait for experience. They wait for wisdom. They wait for the right season. Natalia was still a devoted wife. Still a devoted mother. Still deeply in love with her family life. None of that had changed. She had not chosen between motherhood and her dream. She had found a way to embrace both. And as she looked at the photographs spread across her screen, Natalia smiled. The girl who once dreamed of becoming a travel photographer had finally returned. Only now she understood that the most meaningful journeys sometimes begin right where you are.